Hello, strategy game lovers. It is Strategy Gaming Dojo where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And today we return to the Pacific Ocean and Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admirals edition. This is part 41, I do believe, and this is turn number 8. We are still setting up that turn. I see David J. Russ is here. Hello, David. How you doing? Good to see you, sir, as always. Today, I am labeling this episode Around the World because rather than me just go down the spreadsheet and talk about a certain part of the map, which I do like to do kind of on Mondays and Wednesdays, I thought on Fridays we would start just kind of spinning around the map, seeing what's happening in different places, getting ready to resolve the turn, which we do on Sundays. This time around, should be interesting. We should maybe get some kind of indication of where the Japanese intend to strike next. But for today, let's just go around and look and see what's happening on the map in general. And we always start here at Pearl Harbor, of course, and here at Pearl, we've got a swarm of destroyers out here looking for Japanese submarines. Now, just looking at this, I do have some subs that are running patrols to the south, but as happened last turn, once they sniff some, submarine activity, they all just go running to where that sub is. That's a potential weakness, just because, I don't know, if they have 6 subs down here and one up here, and this just happens to be the one we detect, and all of our destroyers go running up there, well, as you can imagine, that's not ideal. If we still have these 6 subs back here, I'd rather they stay a little more spread out. So we're going to have to play around a little bit with the react. And for those of you that haven't played the game or kind of new to the game, every surface task force for the most part, generally speaking here, has this max react number. And what that really is if there is Japanese activity detected within 2 hexes of this task force, they will react to it. Now, it's really up to the commander. You see here, we've got our Badillion, it seems, and his inspiration 61, his leadership 61. Sounds like a good leader. I like this guy. But it really depends on kind of what his aggressiveness is. He has an aggressiveness number. I'm not going to go look through it all. Well, I say that. Yes, I am. Um, no, actually, I'm not. We're not going to spend our time going to look at the captain level. But if his aggressiveness is kind of high, then he really is going to try to react. Sometimes you have guys that are a little more passive and they won't do that, but as you can see, we've got a mess of destroyers that are here. Now, hopefully we can, do something with this sub. It becomes very important because we do have some important ships coming here, including this carrier task force that is just stuffed full of stuff. Stuffed full of stuff. Okay. Um, the Saratoga, we got 2 cruisers, we've got 3 light cruisers. We sent a bunch of destroyers out there to meet up with the Saratoga task force. And so we do have some anti-sub ability here. Unfortunately, I think all of these are a 2. They're not much. Um, P. Warner says it's freezing out there. Yeah, I went through the drive-through at Chick-fil-A this morning. I hate to say that. Obviously I'm trying to sculpt this beach body, so I went and got a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich from Chick-fil-A this morning. And the lady said, "Woo, it's pretty cold." And I said, "Well, I mean, to me, it's not that cold. I'm out in I'm in California now." And she's like, "Yeah, it's under 60." So it's all relative, right? She really thought it was freezing out there. I think it's like a 56, 57 maybe. But yeah, I saw back in the Midwest, back east, it's really freezing, truly freezing, below that 32 or 0 Celsius. Um, God, I don't miss that at all. I'll tell you that. Um, Anyway, we got the Saratoga coming in. I actually was thinking about I'll just auto disband this thing, I think, when we get here. Uh, Stanley says it's -10 Celsius, no snow. One of those really crisp, uh, truly crisp mornings when you get up and it's -10 Celsius. That's for sure. Um, yeah, no, I like I said, it is cold here for Southern California, in the 50s. So you guys don't cry for me though. We'll be all right. I'll bundle up. That's why I've got my hoodie on. Um, yeah, let's auto disband this sucker when it gets out here. Now that's another thing that I'm probably going to be setting up offline before I come back in on Sunday with you guys. Is we've still got a lot of things here at Pearl Harbor, and I'm not going to sit here and go through every damn last ship. That would take up the entire stream. But I mean, we've got things that should be doing things here. These destroyer minesweepers, those are good ships to get out, get them down. Pago Pago, Suva, Nomaya, get them out in that area. I will be doing that offline, and maybe when we come back on Sunday, I'll come through and go through a lot of what I did here at Pearl Harbor. This is the main place where we have ships just sitting. It's starting to drive me a little crazy. OCD alert. And so, yeah, I'll get these, I'll get some what I'll call support, task forces that get going down and around our wall there. We also have some oilers out here, the Ramapo and the Neosho. They're out here. The Neosho, look at that, almost 15,000 in fuel capacity or oil capacity if we needed to, but fuel capacity 98% of the time. We should either be sending that back to the mainland and coming back to Pearl, or making this a floating gas station out in the Pacific, which is my preference. So we may actually send, one or both of these down near Tahiti, or maybe just to the north of Tahiti, with Tahiti at its home base. So we would just put it out in a hex, have it remain on station at that hex until it runs out of fuel, which would probably not be forever if it just sits in a hex. And then as we have task forces come by, we've got another fill up station out there. So I'll be doing a lot of that. And then I think when we come back on Sunday, we'll just take a look at that. Now, some other things that we did this time, we went to all the off map bases. Whoa, a little too far south there, buddy. Um, we went to Balboa and Cristobal over here. We set up what they had. We only got one ship this time. Now, in both locations. Now, we do have all of those destroyers coming in. I always forget exactly how many days until we get them all. I'm obviously excited about them. I've talked about them several times. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, one day, there we go. Coming into Balboa, coming in hot. We've got these with radar, so they bump us all the way up to a majestical 4 for anti-sub. We'll have those go up to the U.S. West Coast, pick up some things, and then out to Pearl Harbor to join the carrier task forces. And then San Francisco, I've still got 4 ships here. We've got the 2 ACMs and we've got the 2 uh, AKEs that are 5 days. Wait a minute. Are these the ones? No, we're not actually not converting these. I was thinking they were conversions because I saw the auxiliary before that, but they're not. They were just damaged somehow. I don't even know how. But they are getting repaired. 5 more days on those. Those are tenders, and so that's good. The more of those you can get, the better. We have 9 ships in port in LA. Let's see what they are. Yeah, we have 2 more oil. I got to figure out what we're going to do with these oilers. They've got way too much capacity just to be sitting around. These should either be going to Pearl Harbor. Now, we don't have any destroyer support here or in San Diego, as far as I know. Let's go down here. We only got one ship in port. That should be the ACM. It is. We don't have any destroyer support here, so with those oilers, those are precious. We may wait for the new destroyers to come up here, and that's partially what will ferry out to Pearl Harbor. Okay. Now, last time we went and looked at the eastern U.S. A lot of planes here, a lot of planes training. It's about to get really busy up here. We've got a lot of ships coming up here. We'll be running these from the eastern U.S. Let's just call it Norfolk. I don't know why, because that's the big port I know on the East Coast, although of course there are a bunch of them. But we'll be running that from Norfolk down to Cape Town and kind of completely avoiding the Japanese. There is absolutely nothing they can do about that. And if as the game goes on, we will be able to almost supply the complete Allied war effort from the eastern seaboard to Cape Town. And then it's just a matter of getting it from Cape Town to wherever the heck else you want to go. We even came to Canada up here, and again, there's what, one plane. There's not a whole lot happening in Canada. I'm not the first person to say that. Sending that out to all my Canadian friends. Let's go over here to Abaddon. Yeah, we spent some time, real time with Abaddon this time, looking it over, getting things set up. No ships in port. That's always what you want to see in Abaddon. There's really no reason for anything to be sitting there. Aden is starting to get some stuff. That's good. Let's go down to Cape Town. Cape Town, this is that dreaded transport task force I don't like to talk about. It brings up bad memories. We do have the Cycleman heading over to Diego Garcia. And then on, the reason we're doing that is we don't need the ASW here. It's got a 4, so we're going to send it out this way. Why not? How much is this ship worth? Yeah, it's only worth 4 points, and it's got a 4 anti-sub. That's something you can even send into a hot zone such as Rangoon, which we're about to go look at here in a minute. In Colombo, I've got too many ships sitting in port. I will have to take care of that. We've got, oh, well, that's okay. This isn't so bad. I hate when I see double-digit ships sitting in port, but these are all those British surface ships that will become part of a task force, or at least most of them, with the Hermes, which is the light carrier that's sitting here. Um, just perched here like a British prince ready to make things happen. Cochin, a lot going on here at Cochin. What all do we have going on? We've got a transport here. Okay. Um, or transport task force. This was transport to North Mail. Okay, well, so we dropped off, I think, a base force out here at Mail. Question, we need to be doing something with that transport. I actually mean over the next day or two to go all the way through India. That's something that I haven't done in a couple of turns, but I will go catch up with India again offline. I'm not going to make you guys go around, spin around from New Delhi to, Islamabad and who knows where else. Um, and make sure we've got our garrison requirements. I'll do that one offline. What else? Wow, North Mail. It's a happening spot out here. And yeah, okay. So, we're gonna drop off base force there. Do I do? What's happening here? Oh yeah, we've got this Aracula. Now this is supposed to merge with the task force. I'm just gonna have to figure out which task force. It says 422, or that's what I put it in as, but it's possible that Cole had a different task force number than we do. It says it's supposed to be meeting something heading down here. Well, shit. Let's just go look for Task Force 422 because now I'm curious. That's why these turns take me so long. I sit around here and say, where is Task Force 422? Let's see. And of course, we don't have a Task Force 422. That's the kind of stuff that haunts my dreams. But I'll look for that. I'll look for that offline. We got some stuff going on at Goa. We talked about Karachi. One thing we really haven't talked that much about the last couple of turns is the death run Calcutta to Rangoon. We did have a task force get completely wrecked. All 4 cargo ships taken out in what was a bloody day of infamy off the coast of Rangoon, out here off the coast of Burma, I guess you should say. What's happening at? Let's look at Rangoon first. All right. So we've got 23 available for cap. We've got 4 damaged. Okay. They still don't have any kills. The Japanese have not Oh yeah, Stanley says the Maldives is a very nice holiday place in the peacetime. In peacetime, um, it's funny you should mention that, Stanley, because my wife has Maldives on the mind all the time. She's always like, "Let's go to the Maldives," and I'm like, "Well, I can't play strat. Can I stream from there? Can we take the green screen?" She says yes. She says we can take that anywhere. So I may be coming to you live from the Maldives at some point. We're actually going to Mexico for a wedding soon, so I'm looking forward to that. But we're going to be there for a week, so I'm going to be streaming from down there. I'll probably have a nice Hawaiian shirt on down by the pool, streaming War in the Pacific. That would be fun. Margarita at hand. Um, all right, so 23 are up in cap. We got a 50%. Now, remember, we're backing that off because the fatigue was getting a little hot there. Um, six range, we probably could make this five, but we've got a lot of stuff in this area, so I'm just going to leave it six. We're at 23,000 feet with those bad boys. That's great. So we have 23 in the first one. We've got 20. Okay, so they both have 26 planes in the squad. I guess that makes sense. The max is 27 in these Flying Tiger squads. And so, okay, cool. He's up in cap two. So, like I said, we were running long range cap. That's right. Now we're saying commander discretion. Ooh, I'm glad I came and looked at this. I almost forgot about it. Of course, I would never forget about it. Okay, let's look at these other ones first. And we've got these buffaloes also doing. Oh, no, I'm sorry. These are the Blenheims. Okay, 12 of them. They're also running long range cap over force 310. Okay. And then we have another long range cap over 216. All right. So let's go look. 310 must be this one. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming in on 310. Holy smokes, that looks like a turkey shoot for the Japanese. We've got these coming in full speed. Yeah, we got them coming in full speed. Whew, that should be a good one. Okay, now where's this 216? Is it this one? It's those HDMLs, isn't it? Or maybe it was 312. Is it these guys? 312. Oh shit. Sorry. I gotta go back here and look. I got distracted momentarily. Now I'm gonna go back and look and see. Um, it's Task Force 216 and 310. Okay. 216, 310. So we already know this one's 310. Where's 216? 312, 423. Did 216 already make it? Is it this? No? Huh. Interesting. Where is Task Force 216? I'm losing all my task forces today. Did it make it in? Oh, there it is. It did make it in. Okay. I guess that's probably where I should have checked first. Okay, we can get this off of. Nope. You know what we're gonna do? Let's have them also run long range cap over these guys. I mean, that's a lot of ships in that task force. Now we're trying to, get it in there as fast as we can. We got them going in full speed, but now we're going to have a long range cap over 310 of approximately 8 planes, and then another 310 of approximately 6 or 7 more. Okay, because these guys we can now take off long range cap. We'll have them just fly regular cap. They're also getting a little up there in the fatigue. I've got them running a lot of missions for the fact that they haven't seen any action. I mean, none of these guys have any kills. The cap over Rangoon is, as of yet, undisturbed. Um, yeah, that's right, Stanley. I was thinking of umbrella drinks, and I forgot my task force. Um, Well, it's odd that the Japanese keep hitting us down here. Victoria Point, Tavoy. It's coming to Rangoon and Molmine and Pagoo. It's just a matter of when, not if. So, maybe maybe this is the turn that it all shows up. Let's hope they wait one more. Now they did come out here, right? They didn't like comes, well, maybe they did fly straight over Rangoon, but we sure as heck didn't do anything about it. But they did come out here. That's where that other task force was just, you know, taken advantage of out there. Um, and so, anyway, okay, back to the task at hand. Rangoon's looking fine. Let's make sure we've got all of these things that are supposed to be in Rangoon in combat mode. Combat, 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 Rangoon, combat, Rangoon. All right, this all looks good. Good. Yeah, I will at places like this go through and I'm looking for two things. Well, first of all, I'm looking at what's the future objective because we should always have the future objective where we want it to ultimately be. And so if any of these would have said Pagoo, I would have said, oh, okay, we got to go look at that unit and move it up to Pagoo because that's where, that's where it's supposed to be. That's where we wanted it to be. Maybe we had to rail it here first or something like that. Uh, and then once you get them where you want them to be, you've got to get them into combat mode because, the worst thing in the world is to get caught in a Japanese attack and you're in move mode and you're like, oh shit. It's one of those things that you can actually control. Combat Pagoo, combat Pagoo. Hold on, let's make sure. Okay, combat Pagoo. Great. All right, so Pagoo's all set up. It looks, yep. We've got gosh, we got a lot of units here for 166 assault value. Goodness. Now, see, we've got a lot of things that could be reconstituted up here. The first Burma division, for instance, we've got them in Pagoo, we've got them in Mole Mine, we've got them in Rangoon. All of these could eventually come somewhere, whether it be Pagoo or Rangoon, and be combined back into that bigger unit. That's the first Burma. And then we've also got the 13th Indian Brigade. Two of these guys are in Pagoo and one's in Rangoon. Doesn't make a lot of sense. We want this one in Rangoon, though. I'd really kind of just rather put the brigade together. It gives them a better total assault strength when they're all together than when they're broken. When they break apart, they lose some of, I'm going to use a buzzword here, lose some of the synergy, and it doesn't add up. The parts do not add up to the whole. Okay, well, whatever. It's not the end of the world if those three aren't together. We may change that at some point. What do we have down here at Mole Mine? We've got this unit, the 2nd Burma Brigade. Okay, I thought we had more than this though, or more that was ticketed for here. I think these units, or yeah, this unit's coming down here by rail. We'll have to make sure that gets into combat mode when it gets there. It's a 74. That's not bad. The BFF Brigade. Now that's probably Burma something something. You could also come up with really interesting derivations of that acronym. Um, what's going on here? This is Tangu. Tangu sounds like a fun place. The railway BAF. Okay, well it's ticketed for Tangu, so that's fine. What about Mandalay? I haven't looked at Mandalay much. We met the garrison requirement. Okay. Oh, this one we're going to move out to Tang. I remember this. We're going to move this out to Tongwei or Tongwei once we this base force builds back up, I think. I think that gives us enough assault strength to get that other unit over here to Tongwei. Now, don't forget, we are currently invading down here. Um, to activate Japanese militia. So that we've got this one lone unit out here. This is truly a suicide run. They're just, they're coming down here because it's kind of a one unit war that they have instigated here around Chiang Mai. And they're coming down this highway. I mean, go all the way to the coast, boys. I mean, go as far as they'll let you. Now, but this is just one of those things. It helps the AI if you activate the militias down here, and the only way to do that is to cross the border. So we are now across the border. Militias should be activating. Um, Stanley, it says, I thought future objectives were where we wanted them to be later on. It is. It is. All I'm saying is they give you a hint of where they're supposed to be headed. You know what I'm saying? So if I have something here at Rangoon and I go through here and their future objective says Pagoo, I know that they're probably not in the right place. It just, kind of gives me a red flag. This thing, for some reason, is sitting in Rangoon, but it has a future objective of Pagoo. Why? You know what I'm saying? And so it tells you where they will be going or where they should be going or where you want them to be eventually. So yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear. Um, Sometimes I just get to rambling out here. I'm thinking of acronyms for BFF, things like that. Best Friends Forever unit. Yeah, we're also invading Indochina from this way. These guys are heading to Hanoi for on their weekend pass. Um, yeah, they're heading out this way. Same idea. We are activating the militia. Now, I don't mind helping the AI, but can I just point out we have, the Japanese have invaded here. So it looks like we're on the western side of them. We're not really. That's kind of a construct of the game. We're in the same hex, we're in the same locale as them. Now, we have been slugging it out down here, and we were getting the better of them. It's now giving us the option. We could deliberately attack ourselves. This is a pretty decent unit. What I was thinking about doing with these guys is instead of, triggering the AI and being, uh, hey, let's be a nice guy, get your militia going. I may send these guys north because, we can't afford to have them get over here to Nanning, which we don't have any defense for right now. Now we're bringing stuff down, but there's none there yet. So actually, why don't we go ahead and do that? We're going to switch them to. Uh, We'll switch them to combat mode just because I don't want to forget about it. I don't want these guys just sauntering up into that hex in move mode, and the next thing you know, we're down a unit, and then we're really in trouble on that pathway into Nanning. And so, but anyway, let's go up here, take care of these guys, then we'll worry about activating the AI. Um, we'll do it that way. Now, we are currently, coming down here to attack at Quang Chawan. We have this unit here. Who are these brave fellows? This is the 64th Chinese slash B Corps. So we've slash this unit up or diced it, sliced it and diced it, right? And we're coming down here to attack, and we might as well. I don't see any Japanese force here. Now, they may be trying to get something over here, and maybe that's what these guys are doing because I don't remember seeing them here before. I think that they were here at Canton. They now look, they've got a lot of assault value here at Hong Kong that is now free. They've assaulted Hong Kong, they've taken Hong Kong, now they can do what they will. I don't believe we're strong enough at Wu Chao to hang on, if they bring a sizable force there. So we're getting these units up here. We do have things coming down from the Central Reserve. As a matter of fact, let's see the progress of some of this stuff. That's going to Tuyun. That's at Qingkang. What's at Guiyang? Oh yeah, holy moly. Now, all right, so they're on the move. They're going to no. They're going to Tuyun. We really should be setting their future objective to Tuyun. Tuyun, Tuyun, Tuyun. These are all moving there. And that is Tuyun. So they're marching down here. We're getting them all centrally located. They're coming out of our reserve, and so your reserve is up here at Chungking. This is where you're getting all of these, massive amounts of men for the Chinese, and so we're releasing things out of here, and we're kind of getting them centrally located. Here at Tuyun, they can come and help in the south if needed. They could help in the southeast if needed, because Guilin doesn't have a whole lot there. They could, if Changsha got in trouble, they could help there. And also up here at Luoyang and Chengchao, where we're currently being attacked, and it looks like we're getting more on the way. Um, as a matter of fact, this was going very well, but I really hope these guys don't retreat at all. Um, they're a 1066 assault strength, and they've really been holding their own against this attack. But it looks like the Japanese have more on the way, unless I'm mistaken. Maybe that's just a shadow, but it looks like we see them moving that way. Regardless, they have more units that are right here. Now we have come here to cut the railway here. They've got a unit coming at us. Hasn't arrived yet, but that could be a scrap. Let's make sure these guys are in combat mode. Combat, combat. Okay, cool. We also have, I mean, we've got a lot of units in the area. But back to my original thought, which is, we're moving a lot of these things to Tuyun. They could even take the highway, but that's a long journey to get up here and help. We've kind of got them surrounded a little bit here at Xinyang. I'm somewhat tempted to attack, but let's not get crazy here. We're playing defense in China. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But gosh darn, is that tempting right in this Xinyang area? There's just a lot of places we could, you know, there's a lot we could do there. And maybe we will. We've kind of got these units surrounded out here, and if we take those, it doesn't appear that they have much at Hankow. At least if they do, we haven't detected it. And then if we could surround, if we get Wu Chang. Now, of course, you may say, well, they've got forces here, and it goes back to the highway. Well, we've now cut off this highway, and we've got a lot of forces here that we could just move up here, and they've got a lot that could get stranded here. It says they've only got 2 enemy units. I find that hard to believe. Um, Bayard says he used the reserves to stop the Hong Kong, Canton, Wu Chao forces. That sounds like a great dish that I may have this weekend. The Hong Kong, Canton, Wu Chao. Yes, that exactly right, Bayard. We are bringing them here to Tuyun. We could, once they get to Tuyun, they're on this railway. Now, this railway unfortunately does not connect right here, although you may say, it really doesn't matter to some extent unless we took Wuchang, um, which is true. But once we get them to the rail here, we can bring them down. We could bring them over if Changsha got in trouble. We could even bring them all the way down to Kukong if we want to. That all hooks up there. So, it's a little bit of a railroad tycoon we're playing here. Stanley says, cut the rail between Hengkao and Xinyang. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see what we got going on there. Um, oh, I see what you're saying right here, Stanley. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I like that idea. I, I believe we've got them quite a bit outnumbered here, and we've got all these forces over here, and I'm just going to give it another turn. I've got these guys moving here, which now really kind of question whether I should do that. I think we've got them totally outnumbered in this theater right here. Uh, I think once I'm prepared in the next 2 to 3 moves, I think we'll move down this highway and we'll start putting pressure on them here in the center of the map. That also helps us get some of these 2 units out. Now I say get them out. I don't think we're even trying to get these guys out. I've got them in move mode, but this is where we wanted them to be, really. Hmm. Well, here's another place on the map I'm going to have to come take a real gander at because there's lots of interesting things happening here. I mean, hell, we could come, from what I can tell, we could come take these 2 railroad depots here with these guys. Uh, but yeah, maybe we should consolidate and then go from there. What are they part of? They're Lusu War area. Okay. What about these guys? They're the Fifth War area. Where is that damn Lusu War area? Oh, actually, I always get those two mixed up. Is this? Yeah, that's just the first war area. Is there a war area here? That's Jingsha. Right. Okay, those are the two I always get mixed up. Where is Lusu? Lusu is always out in here somewhere, and I'm like, I never know how to get Lusu. Oh, it's right here. I'm like, I don't know how to get this out. It's surrounded by swamp. It has to cross like major rivers. It continuously gets attacked, but never loses anything because it's an army headquarters. And so, it just never loses anything. It's very hard to get this where you want it to go, which, I've got it going to Nanyang. Make it out, brother. Can we? I wish we could just, airlift them out here. But I always struggle getting this out, and then sometime like turn 40 or 45, it'll pop up somewhere, and I'll say, "Oh yes, Lusu War Area, here you are." But this unit's part of the Lusu. This is part of Fifth, and Fifth, I believe, is maybe right up here. Nope, that's an army group. That's an army group. Army group. Where is the Fifth? Is the Fifth all the way back here? Well, shit, I'm not going to go look for all that. That's not important. That is just me satisfying my curiosity. All right, look at all these Japanese ships out here. Look at those task forces. I assume these are, well, let's just go see. They're moving west. Yep. Looks like we've got, or, our intel anyway is telling us we've got 5 cruisers in this group. That's an invasion force because they're coming to, you know, hit us with bombardment. So that's what that would be generally. And then I'm sure we've got transports back here. Yep, here are the APs. Another AP has been spotted there. And then a couple of tankers. Wow, this is all just ripe. Holy shoot. Uh, let's maybe. All right. Well, these guys really should react to that now that they've all been spotted. But I kind of want, instead of just sticking here on the coast, and this is pretty ripe all up in here too, right? I mean, look at all of our submarine play here. I kind of want some of these guys. Oh crap! I've got these two. Okay, let's finish the first thought and I'll give you the second thought. I kind of want some of these subs to, this is just fresh meat up here. I would like those subs to get up there because I'm seeing a lot of cruisers, a lot of transports, tankers. I'm not seeing destroyers indicated. Now, I'm sure there are destroyers mixed in there somewhere for anti-sub work. I did see an AM somewhere. There it is. In this one, there's an AM. So, it's a minesweeper, but it's got some anti-sub, but really you don't see a whole lot of anti-sub, and this is just, doop 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 hanging over here. Um, Question where they're heading west. They probably are going to skim along here and maybe come to Kwanton, Mersing. They could even get over here and turn south, and that'll be the force that hits Jesselton, Brunei, maybe even Kuching. In all cases, we have submarines that are monitoring all of this, but okay, that guy, his patrol zone is going to take him right into the teeth of that. This guy maybe is going to be a little south, so let's change his patrol zone. Let's get out in front of him a little bit. Let's set it over this way. Um, Actually, you know what? Why don't we just do this? Nah, I don't want. I want to keep it in a patrol zone. I was just going to move it over to one of these hexes, but I think Bayard is saying, check your PT boats from Manila. It's a nice dark night. Woo! Valentine's Day is coming up, and it's got Bayard looking at the moonlight. Um, I will go check that out, Bayard. Thank you very much. 1-2, 1-2, and then if they want to head a little south, but let's go put that out in the thick of things here. What do we have here? We've got the skipjack. All right. Skipjack's out there. This guy is, like I said, he's already headed this way. We might as well get this guy moving off to the west with them. as well. Let's try to put that out here, maybe here. Yeah, they may cut it down this way. Let's maybe put him here. Now I need to start getting some of these listed as not going, their home base is not to Manila, because Manila, as we're going to see here in a moment, is not long for the Allied side. Okay, so that's one, two, three of these, or well, we're going to have four in the area. These guys are back here at base. Let's change their Manila. Oh, he was laying mines, the sorry. Yeah, let's not do that anymore. Okay, sub patrol, perfect. Do not unload, full refuel. All right, let's give this a patrol zone. We'll set him out if they do start to dart south a little bit. So there's one, two. Nice. Man, I'm hoping that this next turn, I really love when the sub war heats up. They may try to like come down here to Jesselton, so we'll have this there. This game spoils me with the submarine stuff. I still think, as amazing as it is with everything else going on in this game, I still like the sub play in this game more than pretty much anything. I will say I've never played Cold Waters. Have you guys played Cold Waters? I put up on the channel that new War at Sea or War on the Sea, which looks interesting. It's the same company, right? Killerfish. But I've never really played Cold Waters. It always looks pretty to me. I've had some people say maybe it's a little arcadey. I don't know. These guys are going up to the Japanese home islands. I'll just keep it that way. I'm going to give this like one more turn. It's fine. I want these guys to come back in. Well, these guys, let's just go ahead and set them. Um, he's going to be over in this. Let's first of all put patrol. What what's this island? Oh, it's just South China Sea. Okay. Let's do patrol. Oh, I see. Yeah. I'll change the home port. Somebody's still got a home port of Hong Kong. Gotcha. Okay. Patrol South China Sea. Am I going to remember what SCS means? How about South China Sea? Because I'll never remember. I'll be like, SCS, what the hell was I talking about? Um, the Porpoise, yeah, that's going up there. Let's go ahead and set its home port. Well, let's see. If its patrol zone is there, we can. This is a Pearl Harbor one, really. Pearl Harbor is probably oh gosh, it's so far away. But really, Pearl Harbor is the natural place it should go. I think historically that's where they all went. Um, all of the subs that were, patrolling in and around the Japanese home islands, I would assume that's where they went. So we've changed that one. He's going to be out in the South China Sea, so let's actually make him Surabaya for now. And then we can go maybe Darwin, and if we have to, Townsville. But we'll have that go down there. So we've got that. Surabaya, Pearl Harbor, perfect. What do we have in Manila? We've got those PT boats. You are a wise man, Bayard. Oh, and we've also, shit, we've got the submarine tender in here. I don't think that's supposed to be there, boys. I think I may have messed that up. I don't know why that would still be here. That's a 17-point ship. There is zero reason to have that here. Um, okay. Let's do support. Get the canopus out of here, first of all. We're going to set the canopus. Let's have it go all the way back to Darwin if it can make it. And I'm sure we're going to have to set a waypoint, so let's do that. We're going to have it go down this way and around. Okay. I was thinking there's something else in. Oh, shit. I'm actually tempted to put this at full speed and have it stop at Tarkin. Let's see if we can do this. Let's go full speed, or can it make it to Bali Poppin? 29. Yeah, hell yeah, it can make it to Bali Poppin. Okay. Well, we don't even really need to do it that way, do we? Um, Hell, it can almost go full speed all the way. Oh, that would be Bolly popping and back. Okay, I got myself confused there for a second. All right. Let's do it this way. Let's do this by waypoints. So let's set one at Bolly poppin', and we'll do a full refuel at Bolly poppin' with the Canopus, and let's set its destination. There we go. Okay, that's how you do it. Um, oh, David, gosh darn it, good man. He said the Swarry, we got to set the max reaction. That's what happens when I'm talking too much. Yes, this was laying mines, so we did not have a reaction. Thank you, David. Good eye, my friend. Hey, Azutek, what's going on? How are you? Swarry, yes, he needed that max react to one. It had been laying mines. Excellent eyes. Okay, the PT boats. Let's. There we go. PT boats done. Get them at least out here a little bit. You never know what the Japanese may sail about. PT Manila. We could try to get them out, although, to some extent, why? But we could. We could if we wanted to, or we could have them down here at, let's say, Cebu or someplace like that, or off the coast of Legazpi. I'm tempted. I'm tempted. Why don't we do that? Because they will sail some stuff back in here. Let's get them down to Legazpi, and maybe we can nab something here. Nine. Okay, it gets it there. So it gets them out of Manila, gets them down here where they're probably going to have maybe some more transports, maybe some cargo come in there. Who knows? That's kind of fun. Um, oh yes, the aircraft here. Catalinas. God dang, we got 11 of them here. They've got just a massive maximum range. They're how it's kind of a cost benefit here. How much are they really adding to us? By flying this, it's potentially they're the ones that spotted this, and now we know about it. But then question, at this point, how much intel we're actually getting from them, how much recon, because we get it. The Japanese are attacking the northern part of the island. That's really what else can they be telling us, really? Um, but it's possible they did spot this, so maybe it wasn't one of the subs, maybe it was the planes. Who knows? We do need to get them out of here at some point. I mean, I would like to keep these 17 planes. We also have these fighters here. These are going to go down with the ship, pun intended. They're just going to keep flying up cap over Manila and trying to take as many, hopefully zeros, and some bombers with them. We have not been downing many bombers, Japanese bombers at all. Now, I've had some people on the channel say that they're doing better in the air war than I am right now. Damn it. But they're flying higher altitudes. Always, we've talked about it in the basic tutorial. I think we talked about it in, when we were setting up a little bit, is you're always it's a cost benefit with the maneuverability um, that you get on the fighters. Let's look at the fighters. I'm sitting here talking about something, we might as well just show it. This is the altitude maneuver modifier. So you're always kind of playing with, how much altitude do you want compared to how much that's going to knock down your maneuverability. Generally speaking, generally speaking, you're better off in air-to-air combat coming from above. Um, so the higher the altitude you can get, generally speaking, the better in air to air. That also, when I say air to air, I am including fighters attacking bombers, not that it's traditional air to air combat, but if they're coming from above, they kill more or down more of the bombers. So it's always this kind of back and forth. I have them at Cole for the most part, at Cole's recommended altitude. But if you jack up the altitudes a little bit and you're getting better results, do it. I mean, that's really with this game, some of it's art. You know, it's not science. I can't sit here and tell you run everything at 23,000 feet or something or 12,000 feet. It just doesn't really work that way. Or sometimes it can just be random. You know, for the game, you get a better dice roll a few times or something. But my guess would be that even this early in the game, we don't have as good of an aircraft as the Japanese, but you still are going to get an advantage when they're running bombing runs because if you think about it from the Japanese perspective, they're trying to protect their bombers, right? And so maybe they do send out a fighter squadron first, and that one maybe is at 20,000 feet. Right. But when they come in with the bombers, they're going to want to be at the same altitude as the bombers or just slightly above them. So you'll see the way Cole has this spread up or set up quite often is we bring our bombers in at like 8 or 9,000 feet, and we have our escorts, our fighters, set at 10,000 feet. Because if the escorts are way too high above the bombers, it doesn't do you any good, right? And then you run the chance that the enemy is in between the two of you. They can dive down on the bombers and get there before your escort can get down. And you may be saying, is the game really that complicated? Yes. My understanding is the algorithms that were developed for the air war in this game really do take all of that into account. And they're, you know, we don't see it all. We don't see the meatloaf being made necessarily, but it does take into account all of that stuff. And so, anyway, I guess my point here is I think a lot of times early on here, when the Japanese are completely on the offensive, they're sending in escorts at, let's say, 10,000 feet, 11,000 feet. And if we are, you know, flying cap at 10,000, well, we're just meeting them on a similar field of battle. But if you're running it at 15 or 20,000, you're coming in, you get a dive bonus, as Bayard pointed out. There is such thing as, you know, a dive bonus, diving from above. You get a bonus for that. And so that's probably what's going on. And it may behoove us to actually move up our altitudes now that I've talked that through and convinced myself that's the better way to go is to maybe forsake some of the maneuverability because we're not doing, you know, we know the Japanese are going to be on the offensive here. Later on, we'll be on the offensive and we'll be doing the same thing they're doing now, which is running our fighters at an, you know, a lower level than we would all other things being equal because we want them near the bombers, right? Um, and so the Japanese are likely running their fighters, and we can look at this in the next combat results. They're likely running their fighters lower than they will later in the game, or under different circumstances. But when they're in full offensive mode, they're going to be running them lower. I've now convinced myself that we should be running a higher altitude. Shout out to Sean, who in the comments pointed that out. Um, Okay. What about our forces? Let's look at our ground forces really quickly. I guess the way I went down that rabbit hole, I was talking about all these planes at Manila. We also have them at Clark Field. That at some point we need to get out of here, especially like, well, this is only one. Can we disband this? Send some planes and all pilots to the pools. Well, I wish it said all planes and all pilots. Um, it's maintenance. Let's go ahead. We'll just disband that group. Uh, Recon. Okay, we probably need to get him out. We need to get some of this stuff out. That's what we were looking at when I started going off on my altitude rant. Um, okay, this is all fine. We'll get those out maybe next turn. Let's look at the ground troops because they're about to come very much into play. Now we have, I say we, I went up and did it, but it's our game, gentlemen. Um, I went up and turned on replacements for these units. And so you can see they're starting to fill out a little bit more, like the Second Philippine Army Constabulary Regiment. That's a mouthful. Um, I'm sure they came up with some fun nicknames for these guys. Uh, Yeah, so I mean, they're starting to fill up. They're starting to get these rifle squads, the medium machine gun squads. You can see, they want more. I have no replacements now. Let's turn replacements on. Let's turn replacements on. These are, the frontline guys. These are the guys that need them. And so there's no reason to leave these off anymore. Let's try to fill these up. I just said they were filling up. I was wrong about that. We did not have replacements on those other ones, but this one we do. And you see this one has pretty much, well, let's look at the TOE. Yeah, this unit here, the infantry battalion, has pretty much filled out the TOE. You can see here. So that's good, showing, hey, our replacements work. Well, that's always excellent. 31st Infantry, we've got replacements on here. It looks like the TOE has filled up pretty well. Yeah, it's going to be complete once these guys recover from their damage. Now, we also make sure you go through and now why is he at Clark Field, but he wants to be at Baton? Come on, Admiral Tommy Hart. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter to some extent whether they're at Clark Field or Baton. They're going to retreat back to Baton either way. Maybe that's why we've got it on. Oh, okay. Now this is why I'm looking for stuff like this. Should be at combat mode. Um, Even if they're going back to Baton, they need to be in combat mode because the Japanese are here. There's no more. Oh, let's train. Let's think about maybe we'll have them at Baton or Clark Field. I mean, they're here now. Here's another one that's supposed to be at Baton. That's fine. They're going to fall back there anyway. Combat, cool. Combat. Just making sure. I'm glad I went through these actually. I had some of these in move mode and it's too late for that. There's another one. Combat, combat, Clark Field, Clark. Okay, cool. Um, let's make sure Manila and oh, actually I do need to go back to Clark Field. Now that I did that, we're not going to turn the replacements on for the base forces. We're just going to do it for the infantry forces. Let's go back here and see if any of these guys, I don't have the 75 millimeters turned off of stockpile yet. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right, Bayard. There is that indicator up here that tells you, where you are as far as the percentage of your TOE that's filled up. Um, Should I be replaced? I'm just looking through the elements here to decide. Some of these are very I say generic. They're 81 millimeter M1 mortars. They're used by many other places other than the Philippines, and it's just a decision. Then, do you want them to go to the Philippines to a lost cause, to bloody up the Japanese a little bit more, or not? Now, when it comes to just the Filipino rifle sections or the medium machine guns or the cavalry squads, of course, we do want to fill that out. I'll turn replacements on there for the cavalry squad. We have more of those. All right, so I'm basically going replacements on anything that has. Oh, and you know what? We can do it for the U.S. rifle squads too. We're gonna have no, and we've already got that on. We're gonna have no shortage of those showing up. And that's on. Okay, perfect. Last place to look at this episode, we'll go look at Baton really quickly. Make sure we got everybody in combat here. See what we want to put replacement. Oh, see what we want to put replacements on here. Combat, no replacements. Again, these are all things we're going to get a lot of. Marine Corps rifle squads. You might as well turn it on. The problem is then we would have to go stop stockpiling that, and we would fill out a lot of machine Marine Corps that don't need rifle squads right now. So yeah, I'll go look at that. I'll tell you guys before we run the episode what I decide to do. Replacements on here. Combat, combat, combat. Okay, cool. Let's turn that to combat. Okay, we're going to turn replacements on. We already had them on. Okay, those are our three main spots. Now, the only other thing I want to go look at is up here at Lingayen. What are these guys doing? They're in combat. That's the coastal. Okay. Aiba. Nah. Let's make that Clark Field. They're going to fall back to Clark Field anyway. Again, this is another one. Now it says replacements delayed. They have not gotten any yet. Even though there are some, in the pool, but they got attacked. I think these were the. No, have they been attacked? I don't think they have. Well, so these replacements just haven't been able to make it up to them yet. Okay. Combat, Lingayen again. Let's make this Clark Field because they will be falling back. This is the San Fernando force. This is what I was thinking of. Okay, their replacements are delayed. Actually, I probably should have kept those Lingayen ones Lingayen, of a little stiffer resistance. And this is the one I wanted to change back to Clark Field. Sometimes you get bad orders. Um, but with that, I do believe our hour is up. Our power hour of fun, my lunch hour, generally, or it used to be when I was in Chicago. But as always, thank you guys so much. Thank for your help today. I think everybody pitched in it one way or another and said, "Hey, we got to come on, man, come on." Um, it's hard being the supreme commander up here, so I do appreciate all the help, and I do appreciate you guys stopping by at the stream. It's always a lot of fun. So all of you guys, thank you so much. Hope you had a good time, and I will talk to you tomorrow if you like War in the East. If not, Sunday, and we'll run this turn.